Welcome, fellow last places, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, movies, and TV shows. And on today's episode, we will be discussing the Super Mario Brothers movie. And we don't want to hear it. We know we're late. Okay. We don't want to hear it, but you know what? You guys can say it. Whatever. We're late, but we needed some time to finally get into the swing of things. If you guys realize we are going to drop this probably another like today or tomorrow.
Today, as in the
Dep
27th, but also
yeah.
drag on this intro real quick. Just drag it on.
Okay, we're
Let's see
dragging
if
on
we
the
can do it.
intro, just so that you guys can know that we did drop our Mandalorian review yesterday. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, you guys can. Chris and I have just been super busy with work, going to cons and all that good stuff. So we weren't able to drop that as soon as we would have liked. I did see it pretty early. I wasn't able to. Our times weren't working together. So we finally found some time, and we wanted to give you guys this review because Chris and I were talking about it on the side, and we both wanted to discuss this because we're a gaming channel. I mean, and we do movies, and this pretty much fits both categories as Chris comes back in to get his Luigi hat on. That is why he left me to do the intro by himself, guys, so he could go get his Luigi hat. For the audio listeners, check us out on YouTube. Chris has a Luigi hat on. It looks pretty fresh, though. I will say it's pretty snag.
Right?
Yeah, it's a good looking.
It's a good hat.
It's a good hat.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let's talk about Super Mario's. As always, guys, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you guys don't want to hear the spoilers, if you guys go ahead and pause this, go watch the movie, come on back and listen to what we have to say about it. At the time of this recording, this movie has already made $900 million. It is projected to make $1 billion, which will make it the biggest movie of the year. One of the biggest movies of the year. Because when did Avatar come out?
Ooh.
December, end of December.
Did it? I thought it came out this year.
I think so. January, maybe beginning of January. I want to say it was the end of December. I'd have to fact check it. But if Avatar did come out in 2023, I mean 2022, then this would become the biggest movie of the year, which is really surprising, honestly. Not that I didn't think it would do well because it is Super Mario, but the fact that it's making almost $1 billion is pretty remarkable with some of the backlash that it got with Chris Pratt playing voice of Mario,
which I do have
but
comments on that. But
yeah,
also,
of course, we'll
Way
deep
of
dive
Water,
into that.
December 16th.
Yeah, so this is the biggest movie of the year so far because, it's over $900 million and it's projected to make $1 billion before it gets out of the office. It's doing really well domestically. It's doing really well internationally. I think both of them are at pretty much like 450 million for each, respectively. So it's a smash hit, which I'm obviously excited about, and I want to talk about it because I really did enjoy the movie. Also, star-studded cast. We had Chris Pratt, Anya. Anya was in it. We had Jack Black. The list goes on. Christopher Day, just a whole Charlie Day. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Charlie Day. We had a whole cast of people who were just fantastic, and then obviously, wanting to be part of Mario because they probably grew up with it also. So, but before we do any of that, Chris, before we get into our review and stuff, let me know what was your expectations just going in. I know we briefly talked about it, like as all of this got announced, and for the people who don't want to go back and listen to or find when we were talking about it, what was your expectations coming into this movie? Like, were you expecting it to be good? What was were you surprised about the announcement? All that stuff. Let me know. Did you watch any trailers beforehand?
I only watched the one because I had to know what the voice sounded like. And this that was going to be my comment. I think they tricked us on the trailer. Because if you've seen, I know you've seen the movie. Did you go back and watch the trailer if you saw the movie?
Yeah, I did.
The voices to me sound different.
Really?
I think they sound different. Yeah.
I think it's also because when a trailer comes out, it is usually an earlier rendition.
Yeah.
So they usually get out whatever they need to, and it depends on whatever the time the movie's coming out. So for the most part, that's why you will get some differences. But honestly, it didn't bother me, I guess, because well, I didn't watch the trailer. So originally, it didn't like when I was in the theater itself. Um, it didn't bother me one like hearing the voices. Like I still think, and I've said this on the other things, I still think that it is unfair to some of the, especially, you know, to say that voice actors can't find a way to, like, you can't tell me that um, the original voice of Mario couldn't make a voice that would work for a movie.
What's
Like,
funny
I'm
is
not
that he
saying
he is in the movie. Charles
yes, yes,
Martinet. They're
yeah,
all three of them are in the movie. They
mm-hmm,
did
yeah,
the background voices of Toad,
yeah,
Bowser's growl, and Charles Martinet, which is the original voice of Mario, is Mario's dad, which I
mm-hmm.
thought was
Which is
kind of a
great
cute thing,
because,
but also like I get what you're saying. I'm
and
just
it's
happy
very
he made it.
much, yeah, and it was very much like Ellie
Yeah,
for Last of Us, which
yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty cool. But like I was saying, it doesn't. I wasn't upset. Let's say, for instance, like okay, like I just feel like it's kind of a slap in the face, and I'm happy he made the movie, right? And Chris got to meet him, got a bunch of stuff signed by him, which is awesome. But to tell him for me, it's like he is the voice of Mario, but to also be like, it's kind of, I take it as a form of disrespect that you're telling the voice actor essentially that they can't do what they've been doing their whole lives to find a voice that would work for Mario.
yeah,
Like I'm not saying that, and we talked about this before. Like I'm not saying it had to be the Mario voice that we know from the video games because you know hearing that for a while could get annoying. But to say that he couldn't do like a dialed back version is like is weird to me because I'm just like he's a voice actor. Like they literally could do whatever voice he wanted him. Like he could have made a new Mario voice without a problem. So that was one of my gripes. And like I said, it has nothing to do with wanting. Like I just feel like it's a kind of like, hey, you know, we're just hiring this person for their names. But honestly, a lot of people don't even know, especially when it comes to voice acting, like who's actually playing or who's actually the person behind there unless it's in your face, right?
yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. But I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead and what was your expectations and all that good stuff?
I had no expectations. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of the way that this is okay. The Mario movie, which I've agreed with other people, is not a great story, right? Story wise, okay, whatever. But it is I was having so much fun in the movie that it ended up being a great movie. I had no gripes about it. Like coming out of it, I was like, this is fantastic. They're hitting every moment. I do want a Luigi's Mansion movie now, but you
Yeah.
know, stuff like that. It was just um it was great. I loved every second of it. I was trying to pick out the voices. I didn't know John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender, is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in there
Yes.
too. That's a surprise. I'm just looking at the list. Um, but other than that, yeah, like I said, I feel like the trailer was changed. I don't know. I got to go back and watch it. I don't think Chris Pratt did a bad job. I knew going in, no matter what, I was like, if I don't like the voice, the visuals of this movie is going to be fantastic.
Mhm.
So, and Illuminations, right? That's the
Yeah.
company
Illuminations made this.
did a fantastic, like they do a great job. I love the Minion movies. I love all those movies. They look great and glossy, and this one was great. Um, I did see online people complaining of like, kind of mostly Peach. And it's the guys that are like, oh well, Peach is teaching Mario how to do. It's like they have an origin story now. It's pretty cool that like, you know, the brothers are in New York and
Yeah.
they get
Homage to the old
yeah.
school movie,
Yeah, exactly.
the live action
Which I
movie.
heard they hate. I don't know if that's really true, but that was like
What?
headlines everywhere. The guys that played
Oh
Mario
yeah, I
Luigi
mean
in
they all hate it. But it's one of those cult classics that are
no,
terrible,
no,
but
no.
everyone loves.
They hate the new movie.
Oh really?
They hate
I
that they
didn't
made
hear
the new
about
movie.
that.
Yeah, you should read up on it. I
Yeah.
was like, no way this is true. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of disappointing. But also Peach having a story. Like, yeah, of course we had thoughts of like, okay, Princess Peach, she's the princess of all the toads and everything like that. How did she get there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on? So the fact that she was like, oh, they raised me and everything like that, that was really cool to see. Another thing I wanted to say too, I'm glad they kept Seth, like literally Donkey Kong is Seth Rogen, and I thought it was perfect. Him laughing, the iconic Seth Rogen laugh in the movie
Mm-hmm.
had me crying. So the whole time he's just laughing at him, and how brutal. I like the beef between Donkey Kong and Mario the most. That was, spoiler for this episode. That was one of my favorite moments in the movie. Was, they were enemies first. So
Yeah,
the fact that he's
which
like,
is
Donkey
real.
Kong is ruthless to him.
Yeah.
So that whole point of that line where Mario's opening up to him, he's like, my dad's not proud of me, and he's like, oh, well, your dad's right. He's like, he sounds like a great guy. And I was like, oh my God. But I went and saw this at the drive-in, so I got to go see it. I want to see it again. I've already pre-ordered the vinyl. I pre-ordered the collector's edition, which was like $32, but the case is the Power Star.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be coming, but it won't be coming until like November or something like that. So it's way out there. But overall, I want to see it again. One of my favorite movies of the year so far, and they just proved to us that they can make more of these. You know what I mean? I know people want a Legend of Zelda, but they're worried about Link talking, all this other stuff. But this is the year of like video game movies, TV shows. They're doing a great job. And then we're gonna get Halo at some point, and that's gonna crash it all down. But anyway, before that, it's been great.
Yeah. They were finally hitting a point in video game movies where the right people are making them.
Yeah.
And it's right people are making these movies. A lot of people who actually played these games and know about the content and care about it are actually now at the helm of these things. And I think that's what's helping a lot with the production of how good these are coming out. For me personally, I love this movie. And listen, the story to me, it doesn't necessarily matter because what else would people keep saying, oh, well, the story wasn't there. What else were you going to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. You
Like,
gotta respect. You gotta know that. Yeah, the story's not there, but there is so much more fun in the movie that it doesn't matter. It's just like I'm along for the
and
ride.
it's also not geared towards the other thing that you have to put into perspective is that and that's not, of course, there's great PG movies that also have a lot of adult themes, right?
Yeah.
But like this movie is catered to children.
Yeah, it's
right.
not for us.
It's a movie that's catered to children. We as fans of Mario, of course, are going to want to bring our nieces, nephews, or children or whoever to the movies to watch and be like, hey, this is the star that we grew up with, right? Like this is who we know and kind of stuff. But like you have to hit home on both audiences, especially when you're making a generational kind of movie, essentially. Like I know, like, and I mean generational, like when you're trying to bridge a gap, right? You're essentially being like, Mario was created in like the 80s, right? So you have to bring this into a light where now you're trying to pioneer a new group of children also who played the Wii games, who've played like, who've just picked up Mario recently, like, you know what I mean, for their Switch and are playing it for the first time. So to do a complex story would be unnecessary, right? In my opinion. So like people complaining about the story, like I get where you're coming from, like, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying like I get where people are coming from, but like being that it's Nintendo's first real animated movie, like first real movie that they expected big things from, they played it safe, and that's okay because them playing it safe, like I said, those numbers at the beginning, has awarded them that amount of money and now has given them more of an a comfortability to be like, okay, now we can make more of these movies because people actually want to go see these things. It's not that, oh, this was just like a whole fairy tale and like, oh yeah, of course everyone loves Mario around the world, but now you can see it, right? And now that it's bringing in a particular revenue that they weren't able to get now, right? To that they haven't gotten before. So now that you're making $1 billion movie for Nintendo, and the way that the story worked out, obviously it worked out perfect, because that's, to make $1 billion, you need word of mouth also, right? Because there's a bunch of people who were skeptical about this movie and probably were like, I'll probably wait till some other people see it. But to be the first movie that's potentially going to make $1 billion in 2023, and we're in May, and 2 Marvel movies came out, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty big. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
2?
one Marvel, one Ant-Man.
Oh,
Ant-Man was the only
well, I
movie that
mean,
came out.
what's it called?
Oh,
Guardians is right around the corner. Oh, you froze.
yeah, I'm back. Oh no, I'm still frozen. Hello. Hold on. Let me unfreeze. Hopefully.
There we go. And there he is.
All right, I'm unfrozen.
Okay.
So yeah, we're good. We're back. But yeah.
Yeah, it's I like, for the video game movie aspect, right? It's or the shows and everything like that. I'm glad that the creators are being brought in. You're frozen again, but the creators are being brought in. So Miyamoto,
my internet's probably acting up.
It's all right. Miyamoto's being brought back in, or not in, he brought back, but he's been a part of it the whole way. Just like Last of Us, you know what I mean? It's having those directors, letting them, trusting them and saying, okay, you made a game, and you're gonna help me transition this into a movie. And I'm tired of them being like, I'm glad that wall of movie director and TV director and video game director, that wall is being broken, and they're able to move on along. You know what I mean? For our video viewers, sorry about the technical difficulty. We can hear Alan. If anything, you can cut out the camera and then we can just talk.
No, we're good.
Okay. But it's just awesome to see. And I mean, Netflix, I hope you're watching and paying attention to what's going on, because the whole Avatar thing. So hopefully we see what's going on with that. But to go in more depth of the movie, what did you think of the pacing? Basically, one, I do want to get this out of the way too. They did Luigi wrong. I'm gonna say that. All right, Mario jumped into that world.
Hello?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So Mario jumped into that world, right? And he's like, whoa, he sees the mushrooms, everything like that. He's like, this place is crazy. Luigi gets dumped into the lava and has to survive the skull bones and all this other stuff. His whole time in the other world is just met with nightmares and torment and everything like that. I feel so bad for him. So it's just kind of funny to see.
And sorry about that, y'all. We had a little quick pause in there. So if you guys noticed it in the video and in the audio, we'll just jump back to what we were talking about. So yeah, I agree with you. Luigi had a shitty situation, but we kind of expect those situations for Luigi, right? Like, because those are the fun things for, like, it sucks because we enjoy Luigi's misery, I guess, because like, as fans of Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that, like, we kind of want him to be in that scenario so he can play off that being scared kind of person, right? But also, I think they did a really good job at setting up Luigi's character as someone who was dependent on Mario, right? Dependent on his big brother kind of thing. And then now he finally got to like live a little bit on his own, even though he was extremely scared. But like in Luigi's Mansion, you kind of get over it as you continue to go. So he did get put in a shitty situation by like going all the way on the other side and seeing the evil, but it gave us more incentive for Mario to come help him and Luigi to kind of build his confidence too. So I thought they did a really good job at that.
That star didn't help either, by the way. Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Yeah. I want to talk about one of my favorite things that they did and changes and character. Bowser, Jack Black as Bowser, was just absolutely fantastic. I do love that it wasn't him trying to kidnap her for like, just I'm going to kidnap her to kidnap her, but it was more so like he was in love. And Peaches, the song is just so good. It musically, like I said, Jack Black, even though he's very much like he does very much a lot of comedy music, he's really good. Like just just as a musician, he's really good. The Peaches song was phenomenal. Also, fun fact, it actually can get nominated for an Oscar, and I don't care what else comes up. And you guys know how much I love the Oscars. I want it to win. I just period, point blank. I loved his character. I loved how he was, how he had kind of had like that two-sided personality, right? Where he was very like he's angry, but he's also wants to ask Peach for his thing. And I love the aspect of him being a turtle, like them actually showing that he's a turtle also.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? And not kind of shying away from that. Because you kind of forget in the games, unless you're like doing a move where he actually hides into the thing because he's so like, big. I love that they kind of harped on them. Hey, this is a turtle. Like he's going to do turtle-like things. Just they had a lot of great moments. The movements, like you said, the visuals were fantastic. Even one of the scenes that like jump out straight at me was the scene when him and Luigi were running, and it goes into the 2D screen, and they're like running and hitting the boxes and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And the thing is, like, as a person who plays Smash Brother, who countless hours of Smash Brothers, they 100% took Mario's movements from Smash Brothers. Like the way that he was moving, like how he was going back and forth, like it was basically like footsies on Smash Brothers. I was like, yo, like
Yeah.
this is legit Super Smash Brothers. Like it was so cool to see, and just to get those moments where you're just like, dang, they really catered to the fans who care about Mario and the all of the aspects of Mario. I love the way they did all of like the power ups, like the mushrooms. The fact that he didn't like mushrooms, I thought was a nice little twist too.
I thought that was
Yeah,
great. He's like, "Are
right.
you
Like
serious?
he's
Does it
just
have
like,
to
are
be
you serious?
mushrooms?" Like I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh wow,
yeah.
this is
Like
nuts."
just a like just they tweaked little things that made it like very much fun. I love the whole Peach thing. Like I love the Peach backstory and the fact that she's this super athletic person who's able to do all these things. Like I think that's cool. Like you know what I mean? Because in Mario 2, Peach is doing all that stuff anyway. Like if you got, and I know a lot of people haven't played Mario 2, which is a really good Mario, but like that that's what Peach does. Like she also in Smash Brothers, she's very much a strong character that can do all the things that she wants to do on her own. So to see a backstory where she's the queen and all the toads kind of like gravitate towards her, it makes sense, right? Like it's not something that I think is crazy, but she would have also had to protect herself or find ways to protect herself, being that she's in charge of the toads, right? So
Yeah.
I thought that was I had no problems with that story wise either. I thought that was just fine. I loved, like you said, Donkey Kong and that whole thing because it was homage to how Donkey Kong and Mario first
The
met, right? Like when they
barrels.
first met
I mean
with the
that
barrels.
the stage was also a Super Smash
Hmm.
reference for
Yo,
sure.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Like them coming out of the yeah, come on. That was like we're getting those little hints, but like you were talking about, like them not liking each other at the beginning because that's how we know Mario and Donkey Kong. Like for everyone, we know that Donkey Kong was, kidnapped Peach, and that you basically play Mario is the character in the original Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
So them doing that little like homage to it was a lot of fun. And like I said, this movie for me was a lot of fun. It was I didn't know what I going into it, I didn't know what to expect, right? I just was like, okay, I hope they don't mess up because we don't have a good video game movie track record, right? Like it's something that is kind of like in the back of all of our heads. Like even that's why we got nervous for even Last of Us, right? Where I was just like you know what I mean. But then once they started adding the people who again care about the craft and care about the movies and know what those characters are, right? Because I don't care how great of a filmmaker you are, how great of a director you are. There's things that you need to know from the person who either created it or have made big stories about these characters, right? It has to be like a positive conversation. Like you can't just be like, "Oh, let me get some notes from this person because he wrote it." Like, no, it's got to be like, "Hey, these are the things that we like Mario to do," right? Like the and then it felt very Mario like, right? And that's what I think I really enjoyed about this movie was the fact that it felt like Mario. Like he felt like Mario. He felt like things that Mario would do, being a strong character who's, out to help people. You know what I mean? But he's also very hard on himself, right? Like as Mario, as you would expect from Mario, right? Like a person, when you're a poster boy of like they are their toughest critics, right? And that's Mario. Like, oh, I can do all this stuff, but like something's gonna go wrong, and I just have this tiny bit of bad luck that kind of just makes things go crazy, and then he kind of like develops himself as a character during going to the Mushroom Kingdom and all that. Mario Kart moments with
If that is not a
amazing,
DLC, they
bro,
messed up,
amazing,
bro.
like
They messed up. I was
amazing.
like, the track looks dope. I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh, every
it needs to be like they need a Mario movie pack in Mario
mhm,
Kart 8 and just
yeah.
like here. So
Yeah, the Mario Kart thing was so cool, right? Like it was something that they just like you're like, how are they going to incorporate Mario Kart, right? Like, and the way they did it was great. Like we're driving off to go do this, and everyone has their vehicle, like you know what I mean? Like, hey, it's Mario Kart, right? Like, Toad having the big what you call it was hilarious. All the characters having like all the crazy stuff you see in Mario Kart, right? Like it was a fun way of just throwing all that stuff in there. I loved the Bowser fight at the end when they actually get the star and all that stuff. And they kind of again, we got more Super Smash Brother moments where like the up Bs and the way that they were attacking and all that stuff, and Mario and Luigi attacking in unison, very much like what's the Game Boy Advance one that I like a lot. Is it the new
oh
Super Mario Brothers? It's with Mario and Luigi, or it might be like Partners in Crime. It's one of those
okay.
that are like where him and Luigi are like you're like together with them the whole time.
Ooh.
It was very much like that one.
Okay.
I've played too many Mario games to know all of them by heart. So, but yeah, that it was definitely Game Boy Advance though. I know that for sure. But yeah, just showing all of the different elements of Mario, I thought was fantastic. I thought this movie again, they did a really good job at a character that everyone loves, and I don't think even like even if you have gripes with the way that the story is, I don't think anyone came out of that movie not enjoying what they
Yeah.
watched, right? So, and I think that's the most important thing, right? We go to the movies to enjoy ourselves, to get that bit of nostalgia. And I think this movie does all of that for us. It hits nostalgia, it hits all of the key moments that we would want in a Mario movie. Um, it's fun, it's entertaining. We got a great villain with Bowser, and like I don't know, like you said, I don't know what I would change in the movie to make it what I thought would have been a better movie, right? Like to me, I went in there for those, and it's what I think like 2 hours, right? Like
About that. Yep.
2 hours and 2 minutes. I think it was something like that as the runtime, and I enjoyed the whole time I was in it. So overall, I thought it was great. I think they did a great job. It makes me excited because I think Nintendo can really get things going. I think because and look, there's just I mean, throughout all of the the Nintendo series, there's just a Samus movie like is just waiting to happen because there's no way you can't make a good Metroid movie.
That one would
Like
be if they make a Metroid movie, it cannot be PG.
I mean, no, no, no. It would be
I
a
think they
little.
can make a horror like because it's a
Oh
scary
no,
game.
if
Like
they want to, yeah,
I think it could be like
if they want to go
crazy.
ham, but I don't think Nintendo would do
No,
that.
they won't. But I
Yeah,
mean, in for Legend of Zelda, I know they would go back to Illuminations, but I would love a Nintendo Studio Ghibli mashup because I think Legend of Zelda would look beautiful in a
yeah,
Studio Ghibli movie if they were like, yeah, here you go, here's the story, let's work together on this.
yeah. And people listen. People I know are worried about like going into other movies and talking about like Link and stuff like that. Link doesn't necessarily have to talk. And I don't. I know people are under this notion that yes, it's a movie. I just watched Sisu. It's a movie that just came out that the main character didn't talk to the end of the movie, and I was just fine with him not saying a word. So I don't think the what Link does, like game wise, doesn't necessarily require him to speak. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's supposed to, like, Link's premise is to show courage.
Yeah.
You can show courage without him saying a word, which is exactly what the game did. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, that's what Navi is there for, right? Like she's there to be Link's voice. Like, you know what I mean? And all of the other characters, like, you could probably have Ganon speak, and everyone around Link speak, but he doesn't necessarily have to speak. So I think you can get away with him not speaking at all. But if they decide to make him speak, then you can make that work too. Like I'm not saying I would be like completely upset if they did it, but I think the less lazy and obviously more authentic way, and making sure that things are done the way you want it to be done. Like I think it would be harder, obviously, for him to not speak, and I think that's why people kind of like shy away from it. But make the movie, make him not speak, and just make a great movie.
Yeah, to touch on a few things before we wrap it up. Visual, going back to what did you say your favorite visual moment was? Like it
Oh,
was.
when they were on this, when it went into the 2D cam,
Yes.
it goes into the
Okay.
2D cam, and then they're like jumping off
Mine,
jumping on the
like
boxes and stuff.
the moment that I had of like, oh my god, this looks fantastic is, I'm waiting for somebody on Wallpaper Engine to make it, but Bowser's castle floated like whenever it goes to
Yeah, that was a good
the
one.
Ice Kingdom, so it's just that still shot of like it moving in.
Yeah.
And you see the lava and you see the head and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
that is insane. Like to me, that was like, I want this on all my backgrounds. Like this is dope. And I wanted to point out too, Jack Black sold the hell out of this movie, bro. He put in so much work. I want to know his suit guy, right? Where he got the Bowser suit from. But I feel like he put like, I mean, there was TikTok. One of the funnier TikToks that I saw was like Chris Pratt and everybody else in the Mario are selling the Mario movie. It's like, yeah, it's a great movie. I did this video game thing. It's nice. And it's like Jack Black, and then she's like on a stage and like dancing around and stuff like that, and like really promote. And it's true. I feel like he put in a lot of work in selling the movie. So and he took pride in it. And I was like, this is great. I love him. I love him to.
And that's just Jack Black being Jack Black. So like yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was really good. I look forward to when it comes out. I'll probably check it out again, even though I don't really rewatch movies, just because I'm on a kick of not trying to watch, because there's so much content to watch.
I only watch those kind of rewatch those kind of movies. I don't go back and watch like Knives Out or anything. I mostly rewatch. I mostly rewatch Star Wars, and then a lot of animated movies. I feel like this one's gonna be a nice rainy day one of like, ooh, this is gonna be. Let's put
in the
this
background too. It's a nice background movie too, right? So because you can be like, look at those cool moments. Yeah, I mean, I just stopped rewatching movies because like I get a very good grasp of it the first time. Unless we're doing like, if I'm at the movies and I'll watch too. Like when we do a lot of these reviews, I usually watch a movie twice before we do it. But that's usually where it comes. But like once they come out on like TV and stuff, like I'm just like, I don't really need to watch that again. And plus, as you guys know me, I'm just addicted to going to the movie theater. So I will be at the movie. I've already went twice this week.
Yeah,
So
I thought about going to. They just announced, I think 2 days ago, that they're showing the movie in Japanese.
Yes,
they're
Japanese with the English dubs.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they and I was like, that'd be fun to go see.
Listen, you know me. I love watching movies in Japanese. Especially, I mean, I don't know, they're just fun. It's the Japanese voice actors are always on point. So when I watch, what did I just watch in theaters? Was it Demon Slayer? I think. Yeah, I think it was Demon Slayer. No, I just watched Suzume, and that was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good. Really, really fun. You should check that out when it comes out on Crunchyroll. But it's really good. Bree would like it a lot too. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it was, like I said, overall, I enjoyed myself. I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I'm excited for where Nintendo can go now. Now that they know that they can make it a successful movie and people will go out and watch it, which I know is usually a lot of people's concern, because a movie like this, all that animation does take a lot of money, right? It takes a lot of money, takes a lot of time. Even though those come out a little bit quicker because you're just asking for the voice actors, but the making the whole world and all that stuff is, and then obviously you're going to want part 2 to be bigger and badder. So like, it is going to take some more money, but I'm glad that they were able to make $1 billion. So I'm happy for them. Like I'm happy. Chris and I are very much the same. Like I want these movies to succeed because that's our childhood, right? Like, and seeing like I'm still happy that I get to see Marvel movies, things that I watched as a kid, like you know what I mean, like read as a kid become like live actions and other people enjoying those mediums, right? Like Last of Us and all the like, you know, Mario now. Like I love the fact that people can enjoy those things with us, even if they didn't grow up on it. So I always want these movies to succeed. So it was a breath of fresh air to see it succeed, for it to do well, for people to be enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to what else Nintendo makes now that they know that they have movies that people will go out and watch. So before we wrap it up, Chris, I know you kind of hinted at your favorite moment, but let's since we ended always talking about our favorite moment, go ahead and let us know what you got.
The Donkey Kong and Mario meetup, those two together was I like I said, I just love how much of a brat Donkey Kong is. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
And the guy, or what was it? What's his dad's name? Oh,
In the movie,
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember.
Not Mario's dad. Donkey Kong's dad.
Donkey Kong's dad.
Why am I forgetting his name? No. Hold on, I can find it here in a few seconds. Where are you? There you go.
Is it
Cranky Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That of like you're showing off, you're showboating and all this other stuff is great. And him and Mario having the same kind of situations of like
Yeah.
they're kind of like the letdowns of their family, and the fact that Donkey Kong's just like, well, I mean, you suck more than I do, so you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
And
we
it's
both
kinda
suck,
like a
but
competition.
you're way worse. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my favorite part of the movie. What about you?
Also, yeah. So yes, my favorite part, I told you, was that the scene where they basically are, you know, where it very much looks like a 2D,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, which was really cool. Also, the one thing I didn't like though, they didn't shout out. I forgot who makes the Donkey Kong rap, the DK rap.
Oh,
Yeah, I did have an issue with that. Please give them credit. Who made the DK rap?
I have no
Hold
idea.
on, I'm looking at it right now. But shout outs to the people who did make the DK rap. Who wrote it? I need to know. Who? Sorry guys, who?
Oh, I
Wrote
just wanted to point out, if you didn't see it, there's a small moment you see Diddy Kong in the background in the crowd.
Mhm.
There is a small moment where they cut back to him and he pulls out the bongos and he's playing on the bongos. I was like, this is great, but it's the shortest second. So I'm excited to rewatch that movie again and see what I can find. I feel like Miyamoto's in the movie somewhere.
So yeah, it's Grant Kirkhope is the songwriter. The lyricist was George Andrus. So shout outs to them because they didn't give you guys credit. Apparently, I heard that whole thing. I need to read up a little bit more on that. But the DK rap was a nice touch because it's a great song. It's so good at the end, exactly, of Donkey Kong 64. So shout outs to them for putting it in, but like give those people their credit. Like, you know, you guys didn't create that, they did. And we've known the DK rap for a long time, so don't play with that. But yeah, my favorite moment was definitely seeing that 2D moments, just because the movement was very much like Smash Brothers. I thought that was great. Jack Black's Peaches, amazing. And then the Mario Kart moment where just that whole scene was great. Even when Mario like takes off and then he like hops on and then he does the Yahoo, like all that was dope to me, man. I was like, damn, that like they really nailed that right there. Like they found a way to incorporate Mario Kart without making it like a race.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. So
one last thing. My only issue with the movie, was the slow. They did it 3 times, and I felt like it was like too soon. It stuck out a lot, and there was the slow motion, like Mamma Mia. They did it consecutively, and he only said Mamma Mia. I was like, okay.
Well, so like there's a thing about slow motion. You got to use it like sparingly.
Yeah.
And a lot of things you tend to use slow motion too much, and you can't. Once you use it too much, it's annoying, right? Like Wonder Woman has an issue with that. The first one, like where it's like the moments you should have used slow motion, you did, like it became bogged down, right? And that was one thing that I don't like. Like slow motion can be used. You just don't. You need it on every dodge scene, and don't make it predictable. Like don't use it on every time they dodge something or every time they like look at a bullet. or something like that, right? Like it's just that's so annoying. So like find creative there is ways to just throw it in there and just be like, oh, this is cool. Like, you know what I mean? But overall, we both enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm excited to see what they do next. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us. Check us out we're on your YouTube, we're in your ears, on all of the podcasting networks. So go ahead and check us out. Drop us likes, subscribes, do all that good stuff. Chris and I are getting back on track to give you guys a lot of content that's about to come out in the next couple of months, especially because the summer's about to hit. So please be on the lookout for that. And then just let us know what you guys think of all this stuff. We'd love to hear you guys' opinions, what you guys have to say. So put something down in the comments. Let us know. All right. But until next time, Fire Team out.